hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and that you enjoy your New Year's. I am on to Defenders. These are the perfect side records that I think are right on the cusp of being a perfect side. And the first one we have up is Santana. And I always have problems pronouncing this. Caravanserai. And this Santana album is kind of a departure for him. It was kind of different than all of the more traditional rock stuff that he had done up to this point. And yet I think the which side is it that I love so much? Side 1, which is Waves Within, Look Up to See What's Coming Down, Just in Time to See the Sun, Song of the Wind, The Love of the Universe. And this is a much more jazzy Santana, a much more, refined, I think, is a good word to describe it. Anyway, I think that's a great Santana album for people that are used to the rock fusion Santana and want to see him expand his abilities a little bit. Next up, ubiquitous album, Pink Floyd. And I think I'm going with Money, Us and Them, Any Color You Like, Brain Damage, and Eclipse. Although you could probably go with Speak to Me, Breathe, On the Run, Time, The Great Gig in the Sky. This was 72, 73. Just a phenomenal time in Pink Floyd's. Dark Side of the Moon is probably as iconic as any album could be in rock and roll. Not sure what else to say. Great stuff. Next up, Mountain, Flowers of Evil. Having trouble focusing on this. I'm going to go with Dream Sequence and Mississippi Queen. I think it's a very influential, when this came out, rock and roll wasn't really quite this heavy. This is kind of the beginnings, Hendrix and Mountain and a few groups kind of kicked off what would later become, metal rock and heavy rock. And I mean, you can point to all kinds of other groups, but I think that this, even the other side, Flowers of Evil, King's Coral, One Last Cold Kiss, Crossroader, Pride and Passion, Steve Knight, Leslie West, Felix Tagliardi, Corky Lang, just really seminal artists in this field, in the field of a hard-edged rock and roll. And a lot of it's dark, a lot of it's I'm not even sure what to call it, but it's a type of rock and roll that is different from others that came before it. Definitely something to check out. And I think Mountain is a group that's largely undersung. Nantucket Sleigh Ride. There are so many songs that they did that are so influential through the rest of rock and roll. People harken back to them a lot. Next up, REM, Document. Just a phenomenal album. Finest Work song, Welcome to the Occupation, Exhuming McCarthy, Disturbance at the Heroin House, Strange, It's the End of the World as We Know It, and I Feel Fine. This band has produced a number of remarkable albums, a whole area of sound that I'm not sure was ever really delved into like these guys did before. You can say they're kind of popish on the alt edge, and while a lot of these bands kind of gravitated towards the radio hit type of music, they're just too good to be called a one-hit wonder radio band. I'm not sure what else to say about REM other than that album probably deserves to be in the final, but it's not. Here's one that not many of you would carry this far. George Benson, Living Inside Your Love. That is not focusing well. Make it better. There, that's a little better. Living Inside Your Love, Hey Girl, Nassau Day. Living Inside Your Love, you know, a lot of people say that George Benson is a soft jazz, pop jazz kind of player. I have lots of George Benson albums, and I can promise you that he is a hard blues player from way back. It's just he's such a phenomenal guitarist that he started trying to make money, and you can't really blame the guy for trying to make money, and this is what sold for him. I think that anyone who appreciates good music will understand the players that are on this. Ronnie Foster, Fender Rhodes, Yamaha, Mini Moog, George Dalto, acoustic piano, Ralph McDonald, percussion, Steve Glad, drums, Will Lee, bass, Earl Klug, acoustic guitar, Phil Upchurch, rhythm guitar. There's just some remarkable players on this album, and it produces a really phenomenal sound, and his version of Living Inside Your Love is really great. I just highly recommend it. Also, Love Ballad, his version of Love Ballad, kind of an iconic song from way back, is just really wonderful. Next up, The Cars, Drive. Let's see, I'm doing, and this album is probably one of the better albums all the way through. Oops. Nice little insert. Heartbeat City. Hello Again, Looking for Love, Magic, Drive, Strangers. Heartbeat City is just a really remarkable point in time of a style of music that, while many would consider popish rock, is actually just a really incredible driving sound that they came up with. another one that I find just really, really great, and probably should have gone on through as well. I've talked about these guys before. Blue Oyster Cult, Career of Evil, Subhuman, Dominance and Submission, ME262, Secret Treaties. Secret Treaties is not an album that got a ton of response, but it is really, really great. Dominance and Submission is just phenomenal hard rock for '74. Here's an album that doesn't get a lot of play. Flat as a Pancake, Head East, Never Been Any Reason, One Against the Other, Love Me Tonight, City of Gold, Fly By Night Lady. Just a really, it was so different from everything else around it. I guess it had the production and the pop edge to the rock that made it just really stand out when it came out. I wore out a copy of this and then went out and bought another. The first one stayed on my turntable so long that it literally warped from sunlight going through to the to the record on the platter. I tried to heat it up in the oven to flatten it back out again. We all know how that goes. Melanie, Gather Me. Ring the living bell, shine the living bell, ring the living bell, shine the living light. Little Bit of Me, Someday I'll Be a Farmer, Steppin', Brand New Key. Brand New Key was pretty much the hit, the radio hit from this album, but it is just, for people that like great female vocalists work, you got to check out Melanie, and you got to have Gather Me. Just really something special. Next up, Close to the Edge, Yes. Yes is a pretty iconic band. I'm not sure what to say about their the ring wear on the album so bad I can't really read the. I'm going to go with Side 1 and You and I, Chord of Life, Eclipse, The Preacher, The Teacher, Apocalypse, Siberian Catfru, 1972, just another iconic album, one that deserves a lot of recognition. Next up, Roy Gallagher, Calling Card. I'm going to go with Do You Read Me, Country Mile, Moonchild, Calling Card, I'll Admit You've Gone. You're Gone. Roy Gallagher is a blues rock fusion. We lost him not too long ago. Just a phenomenal guitarist, a phenomenal sense of blues music. English guy, just really something special. And if anybody that has not heard Calling Card or Roy Gallagher in general needs to look up Blue Frog Blues or Bullfrog Blues or Calling Card or any one of his great hits. He's done some phenomenal live work. Next up, Van Halen, Jump. 1984. I'm going with side 1, 1984, Jump, Panama, Top Jimmy, Drop Dead Legs. Van Halen is a little bit too pop for me, a little bit too top 40 for me, and yet even I love and appreciate this album. It's pretty phenomenal stuff. Next up, an oldie but a goodie, Muddy Waters, Muddy Brass and the Blues. Side 1, Corinna Corinna, Fine Brown Blues, Piney Brown Blues, Black Knight, Trouble in Mind, going back to Memphis. And you could just as easily go with Betty and Dupree, Sweet Little Angel, Take My Advice, Trouble and Hard Loser. Muddy Waters is where a lot of our music came from. The way he played, the way he worked is just really trend-setting, groundbreaking, all of those big words that you can use to describe someone that, even though he was playing in the blues vein, he did folkish kind of stuff. He did rockish kind of stuff. He did things that transcended genres. And anybody that doesn't know Muddy Waters needs to check him out really closely. Ram, Paul McCartney. I had a cassette tape of this, and it's one of the few cassettes that I could plug in and leave play straight through over and over and over again. I'm going to go with Heart of the Country, Monkberry Moon Delight, Eat at Home, Long-Haired Lady, Ram On, The Back Seat of My Car. But you could easily go with side 1, Too Many People, Three Legs, Ram On, Dear Boy, Uncle Albert, Smile Away. A lot of the creativity of this man coming out of the Beatles is in this album. Great record. Charlie Daniels Band, Fire on the Mountain, Caio Diablo, Long-Haired Country Boy, Trudy, Georgia, Feeling Fine. I'm not a big fan of Charlie's new politics or his some of the stands he's taken lately, but Caio Diablo, the man is a fantastic musician. I actually sat in a concert in Knoxville, Tennessee in the early 70s. We had a huge snowstorm and only 38 people made it to the concert. He pulled us all up on stage and sat there and talked and played for 2.5 hours. So we got our money's worth. Remarkable music, remarkable musician. Here's one that probably won't make many people's tops, but Chuck Mangione, Feels So Good, Maui Wowie, theme from Side Street. This music is so joyous, so well done, so genre busting. It's pieces of classical music, it's pieces of pop, it's pieces of just pure jazz from the heart. This man's music and his flugelhorn are remarkable. Smokey, you get off of that. Another female, Carole King, came through, so I'll do it again. Leon Russell, Carney, Uh, remarkable man, remarkable music. We lost him not too long ago. Just a huge trendsetter. And I think I am going to just go with side one. Tightrope, Out in the Woods, Me and Baby Jane, Manhattan Island Serenade, Cajun Love Song, Roller Derby. Just phenomenal work. I think it may be his very best. Asylum Choir 2 is probably close. Some of the live recordings. Check Leon out if you don't know him. We just lost him recently. Iconic, Black Sabbath, Paranoid. I'm going to go with Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, and Fairies Wear Boots. I think Fairies Wear Boots is my favorite song they ever did. It was different from a lot of the other songs they did. What can you say about Ozzy? He is who he is, and the music reflects that. Another iconic album. We're kind of into that stretch. Houses of the Holy. And then I think I'll go with side one. The song remains the same. The Rain Song, Over the Hills and Far Away, and The Crunch. Zeppelin is one of those iconic bands that just kind of transcends description in the sense of the music they made was just so groundbreaking. Great album, great band. Following up, Rolling Stones, Goat's Head Soup. I think this is a secondary copy. I don't think this is the original. Although it does have the original sleeve. Dancing with Me, 100 Years Ago, Coming Down Again, Do 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 Do, Heartbreaker, and Angie. Some of these bands, everybody knows them so well. It's like there's not any sense in trying to quantify them or really say much about them other than that they belong here, right on the edge of perfection for the perfect side. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I think this is self-titled as well. And I'm going to go with Variations on a Theme, Smiling Faces, Sometimes in Winter, More and More, Sad When I Die, and God Bless the Child. Just really phenomenal, groundbreaking stuff. Many of you may not be aware of this band. You may find it too schmaltzy or popish, but way back when, this was some of the heavy music that was out, and this was just a remarkable album when it came out. I've listened to this thing over and over and over and over. Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, What I Am, Little Miss S, Air of December, The Wheel, Love Like We Do, Circle. Edie is such a remarkable band leader, such a phenomenal artist. Just this whole album it just reeks of perfection. Shooting rubber bands at the stars. Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. If you don't have it, get it. Harkening back to some of my early stuff. Richie Havens, Alarm Clock. Another one of those kinds of music that are hard to quantify, hard to pin down exactly. This guy was at Woodstock. He was celebrated and loved at Woodstock. Here Comes the Sun, To Give All Your Love Away, Younger Men Grow Older, Girls Don't Run Away, End of the Seasons. Just driving guitar work. Not driving in the sense of electric, but driving in the sense of acoustic. A beat that just changes how you listen to music. Richie Havens, remarkable man, remarkable music. Another remarkable man, Stevie Wonder, Talking Book. This album, there are lots of Stevie Wonder albums that are just classic, iconic. But this one has a song on it that separates it from all the rest to me. So I'm not going to go with the where is that song? Superstition, Big Brother, Blame It on the Sun, Looking for Another Pure Love. I believe when I fall in love it will be forever. Big Brother is the song I'm looking for. Big Brother is a political statement way back when of what most of us feel today. If you don't know Stevie Wonder's work, if you don't know his catalog, please dig into it and find out. One of my favorite artists again, T for the Tillerman, Cat Stevens, Where Do the Children Play, Hard-Headed Woman, Wild World, Sad Lisa, Miles from Nowhere, Could Just as Easily Be But I Might Die Tonight, Longer Boats, Into White, On the Road to Find Out, Father and Son, T for the Tillerman. T for the Tillerman is like a minute long, and about every 2 or 3 weeks it just pops up in my head and plays. This is a remarkable man doing remarkable music. And I don't think he's been honored enough. You know, he took up the Muslim faith and kind of dropped out of music after being a huge star. Last but not least, John Sebastian, another Woodstock player. I'm going to go with Red Eye Express, She's a Lady, What She Thinks About, Magical Connection, You're a Big Boy Now, and Rainbow All Over Your Blues. Some pictures of John at Woodstock, playing in front of the hundreds of thousands. John Sebastian is not your normal artist, but he has done some work, early jug band stuff that has influenced all kinds of other people. And you probably know his work from the Welcome Back, Kotter TV series theme song, which he sang, but he is far more than that, believe me. He has been in several seminal groups, Dallas Taylor, Harvey Brooks, Stephen Stills, the Ikettes, Bert Collins, Reinhold Isaac Mduno, Danny Weiss, Gail Levin, Paul Harris, Ray Neapolitan, Buddy Emmons, Mr. and Mrs. Stanley Mutants and Friends, David Crosby, Bruce Langholm, Buzz Linehart, and Graham Nash all play a part in this album, and it is remarkable stuff. Well, there you have it. There are my contenders. The actual winners, in my mind, will come up next. And there's probably going to be some real surprises in there. Some of you will say that all of these should have won and not the ones I picked. But this is all subjective. This is your own taste. You know, I would advise looking at what other people have said and felt, but I would say go with your gut, go with your heart, pick what you love. Up next with Game Enders, the final.